Alright, I'll go ahead and knock out step 2 before I head off to work. Maybe do step 3 on the way, something like that. I don't know. But step 2, how to become a truck driver, is deciding how to get your CDL. For me, I put off getting into trucking because I had no idea how to obtain a CDL. I didn't have any kind of money. I've lived paycheck to paycheck my whole life. So, coming up with the money to somehow get some kind of truck to learn to test on, I didn't know how it worked. I didn't even bother because the money wasn't there. So a couple months ago, I was looking around, looking at transportation jobs, hoping to find some kind of like courier deal or somewhere I could drive, because I love to drive. And I saw that there's a company out there that would train you for free. Obviously, it's not free, but there's companies out there that will get you your CDL with little to no upfront costs. So that's big for a lot of people, including me. The other option would be a private school. Private school is pretty much common sense, really. You pay probably anywhere from 12 to 1500 up to 8 to 10,000 to go in there, go to school, and walk out with CDL. From there, you can go to any company that'll hire you. There's a lot of companies that want 6 months to a year, 2 years experience, something like that. But there's a whole crap load of companies that will take you with a fresh CDL. You go through a training phase and then get right in. So that's pretty straightforward. A company-sponsored school is it's different, way different. Rather than you pay up front, you pay once they hire you on. Every company's going to do it a little differently, so you want to look into that, research that. Truckingtruth.com, what I told you about earlier, they have a list of the companies that offer the sponsored training, so it's a good place to look, get an idea, and then start calling the schools once you've kind of narrowed down what you're looking for. But really, it's pretty simple to understand. You pay a little bit up front, maybe a couple $100 for some fees, that kind of stuff. Probably less than that. I think some you don't have to pay anything going up front. Some you might have to pay for a hotel room, something like that. But again, it depends on the company. Basically, you apply. If you meet their credentials, they'll bus you in. You show up there. You do a deeper application. Your drug tests, all that stuff. You start training with the company. A company-sponsored school is going to be very fast-paced. I've heard it compared to a boot camp. Where a private school, it's going to be slower, because their job is to educate you to get your CDL. A company-sponsored program is there to get you into the truck probably as fast as they can, so they can start making money off of you. So you got to understand that. But yeah, fast paced. Some programs are set up different ways. But usually the big catch that a lot of people are scared of or might not understand is they have to sign a contract to stay with them for a certain period of time. Usually around a year. That's to be expected. If they're going to teach you and train you for little money out of your pocket, they're going to want to make sure that they get their money back. Most companies, during that year, once you go solo, they're going to payroll deduct the cost of their schooling back. Again, every company does it their own way. The company I chose to go with doesn't payroll deduct anything as long as you stay with them for a year. So it's free CDL training. There's other companies that for 12 months they'll payroll deduct so much money per week for 12 months. Then the following 12 months, so your second year, they will put that same amount back into your paycheck every week. So at the end of 2 years, you got a free deal. At the end of 1 year, you paid for your CDL. But you don't start getting charged until you start making money, or if you quit the program, you're on the hook for the money. A lot of schools I saw, they don't charge interest on that if you happen to leave early. I think there were one or two schools that did charge interest, and it was pretty high interest. Not really, not really for me personally. So look into that. Whichever works for you. If you can afford to go the private school route, that's kind of what I would recommend, because you have the option to go wherever you want. I hear a lot of good things about Warner. A lot of people making YouTube videos out of Warner. You'd have to go to a private school to start there. It's a company that I would look into, but I can't afford the private school to get in there to go. So for me, it was looking for the schools that offer the training. If you decide that the sponsored program is what you want to do, then do your research on the company, not just the school. Obviously, you want to make sure the training is going to be conducive for you. Some are really fast paced. I think Central Refrigerated might have been like 2 weeks or something, like really, really, really fast paced. So if you're a slower learner, something like that, you might have some trouble. But really, you find a company that's going to work for you. Don't put it all on starting pay. Don't put it all on this and that. You got to look at the whole company overview, because you're going to be there for at least a year. You want to make sure that you're going to be happy with what you're doing. And it's really basic, but it offers you an opportunity with no money up front or little money up front to get your license and get out there and go. So for a lot of us, that's a big plus. So look into that. Once you've decided that trucking is your career, which was step 1, decide how you're going to get your license as step 2, and I'll come back with you here in a little bit with step 3, which I'm not going to tell you what it is. You guys can guess. So like, comment, subscribe, hate, tell your friends, Facebooks it, all that good stuff. But yeah, until next time, it's B. With my finger in the back. I'm looking at the back of my phone. Don't know how to turn this thing.